like outrageous number of solder connections you have to make. Well, we just had a half an afternoon, so we decided to make a cube of 27 LEDs shaped in a cube. And with that, it's kind of cute. It's maybe vaguely like a little art light sculpture. This one's just green. The one in Berlin, though, is really cool because each one has red, green, blue LEDs, so you can get any color in every node, and it's big and really bright. And they spent, weeks of their lives programming that thing, and it's great. So yeah, finally, the last project that I'll talk about here is the Brain Machine. So Brain Machine is basically the same as a mini POV kit, except 2 of the LEDs go in front of your eyes. 2 of them go to a headphone jack, which hook to speakers for your ear, so it's sound instead of light. And then instead of programming it to do the timing for making a pattern in space, it's timed with brainwave frequencies. So if you put in a sequence of brainwave frequencies for waking up, then maybe you don't have to do caffeine, although maybe you want to anyways. If you do it for going to sleep, if you're having trouble sleeping, maybe you can go to sleep. If you do it for meditation, which is what I put in here, then your brain synchronizes to it and you meditate. And the thing that makes this really fun is that you hallucinate colors and patterns from your subconscious mind along the way. A lot of people seem to like hallucinating. So this makes it so it's, you can do it with or without enhancements. Yeah, so I've got a bunch of these. If you haven't tried it or want to try it again, I've got chairs, because you don't want to really stand and worry about balance when you're doing it, for people to try them out at my workshop at the mezzanine. And I also have parts for those and all these other things at the mezzanine. So, oh yeah, these are really popular at parties. So, and hacker conferences. Everywhere I've been, including like family parties, little kids just go gaga over these things. I guess maybe that's because they like spinning around really fast and stuff. I don't know. Kids love it. So yeah, whether the party is a bunch of urban hipsters or family members, whatever. Yeah, it's fun. So.
Grandma, come over here and put this up.
Oh, we don't have sound, but.
And here's the headphones. And then let's turn it on. So there you go. That's what you'll hear and see when you put these on. I'm Bree Pettis here with Mitch Altman, and this project is in Make Magazine Volume 10. Go ahead and get it, get the parts, make it on up, and have a great weekend.
So that was a little video that Bree made when he was doing weekend projects for Magazine. Yeah, that's basically all I had to say here. There's a lot more you can learn about microcontrollers. I just gave you a really brief overview. And you don't have to know most of the stuff I was talking about, but it's just cool to have a background for what you're playing with, and maybe that spawns more ideas. So yeah, make cool things, because if we don't, who will? Yeah, and I have the plans. These are all open source and free for the plans, and they're all on my website, Cornfield Electronics. So yeah, if there's any questions, feel free. Otherwise, see you all down at my workshop. The Brain Machine has one sequence that I have on my website. And yeah, if you have any questions, use the microphones because they're recording all this. But I have a meditation sequence. Other people have come up with other sequences, and that's on the blog on the Make Magazine website, makezine.com. Your microphone, yeah. Well, maybe not. Is the microphone working? Oh, there we go. It's working now.
Okay. My question is related to the code protection bits that are found in some microcontrollers. some of the microcontrollers, you set a bit or a fuse, and all of a sudden you can no longer read the code back out of them. Has there been any effort to like hack that or get around that? Because it certainly would be nice to take some things apart and pull that firmware out of there, because it should be relatively easy to disassemble that stuff and read it.
Yeah, it's very easy. If you have access to the program memory, it's very easy to disassemble it and figure out what's going on. But there is no way to get it out if they burn those fuses unless you have an electron microscope. Then you can cut it open and look at the actual physical layout and see what's on and what's off. And in China and other places where they don't really respect, that's changing now in China a lot, but in places where they don't respect intellectual property, they do that. So if something's really popular, within 3 months they'll have their electron scanning microscope and they'll cut it open and look in what's inside and duplicate it and sell it. Because, you know, a scanning electron microscope you can do for, what, tens of thousands of dollars, and if they're going to make millions on it, it's well worth it. But us, as hackers, there's no way we can do that.
I'd like to provide an alternative answer to that question. So it is, yes, there are fuses, and yes, there are burned in one way or another, but oftentimes they're burned in a reversible way, where all you got to do is shine some UV light on specific parts of the chip. And a great place to start looking for pointers there is the FlyLogic blog, flylogic.net. They do that on a very advanced level, but they and Bunny too, bunnystudios.com, they'll tell you how to do it on your microcontroller.
Oh, that's really cool. So yeah, one thing, if you're going to use UV, you probably have to cut the chip open, and you got to be sure you don't erase the program memory while you do it.
Oh.
Yeah, that's cool. Thanks.
Another point you might be interested in, some of those controllers, if you run them on reduced voltage, you could often get them to sort of have a temporary sort of breakdown in such a way that they will spit out data that you're not that they're not supposed to, which will often get you into them. It's been done. It's actually a professional technique. It does the same. You have variable power supply. You often can make them do funny things that may let you get into them. Just be aware. That's the way hobbyists can sometimes do it, and it's been successfully done for years.
Great. Yeah, cool. Thanks. Any other questions? Yeah.
Have you tried turning off the TVs at Times Square?
You know, the big, huge ones that are made out of lights, those are actually red, green, and blue lights. Those are not remotely controllable, which is very unfortunate. However, there are bazillions of TVs in Times Square that I have turned off personally.
Nice. Good job.
So is that it? Okay, cool. Have a great conference.